community-wide assembly for August 2024. Here in game, we've got lovely Johnny Gat giving us opening dance here in game. Joining me is the members of the Azure Council here, the High Table in the Azure Grand Assembly Chamber. And many of you who are here live in game. Alrighty, let us get started. Alright, if this is your first assembly or you haven't attended one with us in a while, just know that we do 3 phases of announcements. In between will be raffles that we have. Some awesome prizes donated either from the community or prepared today, maybe from some of our Treasure Thursdays events, or just picked up before the assembly just to kind of give some fun stuff to win here from the new expansion. We have a Q&A at the end, so if there's stuff that those joining us want to ask about, feel free to leave your questions in the stream chat, the Assembly VC chat in Discord if that's where you're at, or we'll do a thing in the chat box here in game as well if you're here live at the assembly. We're also welcome to post not only your feedback, proposals, maybe requests, comments, tell us how we're doing, or even your own announcements such as Eternal Bonds, static recruitment, that sort of thing. If you are watching from our wings, just know that we will have a segment later on towards the third phase of the announcements where we will be discussing the status of Azure Wings and the guilds in our other games as well. FF14 is our crown jewel, as we like to call it. It is our pride and joy, and it's the center of our community, though we do have guilds that are growing in our Azure Wings, which are extensions of Azure Infinitum, in several other worlds, which we'll talk about a little bit later. First off, I would like to welcome all of our new recruits that have joined us in since the last assembly, since our last welcoming. I know we've got some new faces around here. Definitely see a couple here, as well as I see a handful. That's very good. See a whole bunch online right now. You guys have joined a a long-standing resilient community that has lasted nearly 10 years. This is actually our 10th year. That's a long time. Very blessed to be able to continue to lead Azure Infinitum with no plans on stopping anytime soon, if ever. We have a wonderful team here beside me, members of the Azure Council, and those who, a couple of those who couldn't make it here just yet or make it today, as well as our support team. We want to give a shout out to the Azure Scouts for being watchful, helpful, and always helping supply the Council with needs of members or vital information. And of course, our membership here that's with us today. We have a fantastic community. We have a wonderful membership. So many people that respect our rules charter, so many people here that value what we share here every day, and I think that's worthy of being celebrated and recognized often, very often. For our new recruits, or for those who have been in our community here this year in the past 6 months, for the first time in our history, we actually focused the first 6 months of the year on just a lot of overhaul, building, different projects and things that were all kind of bundled up into what we called Azure Ascension, which we posted a bit about on the website before, and we celebrated the overall completion of in August 4th during celebration of the Azure Sky. That was a celebration. It's kind of a yearly tradition of ours, a celebration of many milestones that have come together to kind of be viewed as like, wow, these are like 9 things that have all happened around the July-August period of every year since our founding. That's pretty big, and the celebration post does list those things and talks about those milestones and how those helped build us. So that celebration is an awesome way to start August. We end August with a very special event, which I'll mention here in a second. But we typically have what we call Azure Day weekends. Those are like 2 days of back-to-back celebrations, events, raffles, races, parades, prizes galore, and all kinds of fun to celebrate the community. And we actually had skipped 2 of them, 2 of the regular Azure Day weekends in the earlier part of the year, since it's a quarterly celebration. There's usually one that's in March, and then June, and then the August one is Summer Festival, which the one I'm about to mention here in a minute, and our anniversary in November. And this November will be the 10th anniversary. So we'll definitely want to go all out for that. I did mention prior, I think this was at the last assembly. If not, it was announced during, I think maybe it was announced during celebration on the 4th. When we get closer to our 10th anniversary, there's some special plans that are being developed now. There are some very special things we want to do for the community, as well as stuff that I want to kind of run as an ongoing feature, or some features on the website, kind of an Azure 10 years page, some content on there as well, and some ongoing, what's the best way to put it? Like an ongoing blog that will kind of take a look back at like our past. And I know I talk to a lot of people here, but for those that I haven't told this to, I have taken screenshots every day since I started playing this game in 2013. Every day. I have files that have thousands, and overall, last time I counted, it was close to 50,000 screenshots. Pretty impressive. Over 3 hard drives, over 3 devices, over 10 years. And what that's done is that's actually helped develop like a entire record of our history, from serious moments to fun moments to milestones to everything. I have a lot of content to sort through. There's no way I could possibly go through all of that and then prepare it and then give it the justice or do it justice, and give it the total like organization and recognition it deserves. But I can collect quite a lot of stuff to kind of make some features that'll show us through the years and stuff we can celebrate. And then definitely want to start a kind of an ongoing feature on the website of present time forward that kind of celebrates like current day as well, alongside showing stuff from our past and things like that. I think that'll be really, really neat to see for our 10-year thing. We will definitely be talking more about the 10-year anniversary celebration weekend, which is in November. We'll be talking about that a lot more. Let's see, this is August, September. Probably the October assembly, if not a little earlier than that. So today, however, we have some sneak preview information for some big stuff going on at the end of the week. Anybody present with us know what's happening this next weekend? Next weekend. Just curious. Indeed, it is Azure Summer Festival 2024. It's the 2024 rendition of our yearly tradition in the summer that once took the August Azure Day and then leveled it up a bit, broke the level cap, and turned into a 3-day celebration of back-to-back events. And it's something else. We've got a number of Azure Day favorites, stuff like our darts tournament. That's darts stands for diving at random target scenario, flinging bodies off of buildings towards targets. We've got crazy stuff like parades with parade stops and raffles, stuff like riddle races across the world, and chocobo circuits that are like fully bracketed chocobo tournament races. We've got a dual tournament, fully bracketed 1v1 dual tournament with a grand prize and championship title on the line as well, to be announced as well for our PvP tournament. We have a whole number of things planned for this coming weekend. We formally announced the dates earlier this year, but now we are in full Azure Summerfest swing mode. The celebration at the start of the month was pretty grand, but this is going to be probably like 8 times that content that we had during that one day. So it's 3 days back to back, starting this Friday. Times, dates, and information for all the events that are going to be held during this coming weekend. That's all going to be put in a Azure Summer Festival 2024 post that's going to be on the website very soon. I wanted to have it up before the assembly. Didn't happen yet, but want to make sure it's nice and crisp and perfect and very clear for everybody. Also have some graphics being posted. Quite a bit of info coming out here soon, very, very soon. That way we can kind of continue to add to it throughout the week. So eventually there's going to be TBA slots. So there's going to show kind of the overall outline and bracket of what starts on Friday through Sunday. And then the little spots will be filled in. There will be some stuff that will be initially announced on there, such as the 1v1 PvP tournament, as well as something I want to mention here in a second that kind of deserves its own spotlight. But there's going to be a lot of our biggest events. So basically, this is our biggest thing of the whole year. Next to the 10th anniversary, which is also pretty big, this probably will be a little longer in event time. So we're looking at, kind of coming in with something kind of chill at first on Friday, and then going into prime time on Friday. And then Saturday is going to be a little bit longer, starting a little earlier. It's going to have a huge number of our heavy hitter events. Some of the big stuff like glam contests, some of the other like game shows that we hold, some real fun stuff that we put together for you guys, and the prizes are going to be humongous. We have not only what we have right now in the prize pool, but our prize pool is slowly growing. We definitely welcome anybody that wants to donate to the weekend, to pop any kind of like minions, or if you want to donate gil, or if you want to donate glam sets, crafted sets, something that you think would be really good for a prize. We do try to shoot over the 100K mark in value for prizes. That kind of something that feels really nice to win. The tab 4 and 5 is open in the chest for anybody that wants to donate a prize. Prizes will be showered out amongst the community through a number of raffles, like our flash raffles that are really exciting. Our events, most of them have like first, second, third place prizes. So there's going to be a ton of stuff to win during this weekend. It's going to be minions, mounts, orchestrion rolls, furnishings, probably some crafted sets, gear, new stuff that just came out, all kinds of stuff that's going to be up there. Some of the pain in the butt stuff to farm. And a lot of gil. It's going to be prizes for this coming weekend. So it's going to be pretty insane, pretty intense. Back to back, as I put it. No one's obligated to attend everything, but if you want to pop in during different times or take a look at the schedule that's going to be up, and you can kind of say, hey, that looks really interesting. Maybe I'll attend those two, or maybe that's the day I want to be there for that day, or marathon those events or whatever. Totally up to our attendees. If you can make it, it's a lot of fun. These are really special weekends that we're kind of known for doing. Whether people call us crazy or not, we do like to have a lot of fun together and put these types of things together. It's not every day that you see like 50 people in blue tabards walking through the streets of Limsa and shouting as free as the Azure sky, and then like raffling off prizes and making explosions, and then going on to the next zone. Members can take some really unique screenshots of moments like that. We will have several large FC photos together. We also want to use the Moonfire Fair. Moonfire Fair is active until the morning of the Sunday, this next Sunday. So one, if you haven't done Moonfire Fair's event yet in Final Fantasy 14, definitely check that out. It's available only for a limited time, and like I said, until Sunday morning. And because it runs into Summerfest, which we're lucky this year. Some years it doesn't, some years it does, because we usually pick the last weekend of August. But we definitely want to utilize that content that's there. There's a tower there with a little climbing challenge. There's also like a place that's really nice for like posing. Maybe we can take a cool picture together. We'll have that all detailed and announced, and where to be and stuff like that for the FC photos. I know the FC photos is a thing that a lot of people enjoy. It's a great way to be immortalized in Azure history and have a really nice, like very nice group photo. Some people like really cherish those photos, and it means a lot to them. It's also a really good look at like, our active roster of that time of year and at that moment during that weekend. And last year we got some really cool pictures. We even did like the whole posing ranger thing during the Moonfire Fair and had a ranger pose off group picture with the explosion in the background, and it was really cool, as well as the standard like everybody in blue shot that we try to do too. A lot of people have been asking about FC tabards. FC tabards or company tabards in game. These are very expensive uniforms that the game provides. That's like the FC jacket, basically. And we pre-dye ours in authored blue, and we give them out during these types of events. So there's been a buildup of resources for these tabards that we're going to supply them fully crafted and given out to our members for free to anybody who doesn't already have one. So if you don't have a tabard, just poke me, or maybe there will be another council member on with me that might have some in their inventory, and just ask for one. We'll be calling out for people that might want one during the weekend. There are a lot of people who these are like kind of sought after things. Like I said, they're very expensive, and we can't give them out all the time because the resources comes from the ships or the subs, and or the ships. Yeah, the dusk leather is like really rough to come by. They're like maybe 300 or 400k a pop, and it takes 3 of them to make a tabard on top of other materials. So so if anybody wants to donate any dusk leather, that'd be great too. I know some people have their own like farming stuff going on, and we're just going to make as many of them as we can. So unfortunately, supplies of tabards are limited, but we're going to try to supply a lot to give out. They're really cool because when they crest, when you put the Azure crest on them, and for those that don't know, you can go to the Maelstrom, because the FC is allied with the Maelstrom. That's the only place it works. You go to the Maelstrom, you take a sharp left inside. Don't go to the counter. Take a sharp left. There's a guy there that will add the company crest to your gear, so you can proudly display Azure's crest on your gear. For me, it's a habit. I always go there, and I feel naked without it, so I've got to like put it on like like every time I can. But if you do that with a tabard, it puts like this huge crest on the back, and it looks really cool. There's a little one on the front too. It's one of the 3 exclusive company items that they gave us in 14, and those jackets are really popular, and they do look good with a few different glamours too. So the full members uniform in our lore can be seen downstairs in the hall. There's a mannequin down there with the tabard on, as well as one that has the Skysguard uniform for our generals. But the one with the tabard is the members uniform. So if you combine like the officer boots and the officer gloves from any Grand Company, and the company hat, which is another expensive item, not as bad as the tabard, but still pretty high. That's like the full uniform. But when we do our big like anniversary shot, the yearly picture day shot, and some of the at least one of the commemorative screenshots, because we usually do 2 on the event weekends, a lot of people like to be in their FC tabards, and when it's uniform, it looks really good as a group. It just looks nice, clean uniform, so we'll be giving those out. Anybody who doesn't have one can grab one at any point during the weekend, as long as supplies last. Like I said, we'll try to have as many as we can. Usually we have enough for everybody that wants or needs one. So don't forget to ask during that weekend. Unfortunately, to be fair, we can't do like a pre-order type thing on it. we can't like, take notes on everybody prior to that weekend that wants one. So you're just going to have to ask during that week, because you have a 3-day span that you can get one of these. So definitely mark your calendars. Don't forget. And a very, very, very special moment. I don't know if we've had one of these during a summer festival or not, but the Saturday, day 2 of Azure Summer Festival 2024, we are having a very special Eternal Bond ceremony that's going to take place on Saturday the 24th at 2 p.m. Central. That's noon Pacific and 3 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a very special Eternal Bond of Defensor, our Lieutenant Defensor here, and our Scout Avalon. And, yep, and there's Defensor waving in the chat there. Yep. And we're going to have a special Eternal Bond ceremony during Summer Festival. Invites are going to be in the FC chest. So some of them are already in there now. The invites do have a date on them. So if you haven't been to an Eternal Bond ceremony before, they're really fun. You actually go to a physical place in the East Shroud, the Sanctum of the 12, and it gives like some cutscenes. There's actually 2 minions that you get just for attending. So if you don't have those are cool to add to your collection. And of course, the most important part, right? You can come to support the couple as they celebrate their big moment. These are things that people pay real money to rent part of the server for that period of time and do. And then it's like customized with music and cutscenes, and so it's really, really neat. They're not super long. I don't know, usually they're about like 30 minutes, but they're a very special moment, and we want to support Avalon and Defensor in this, and as many people that can make it are all welcome. Like I said, there's free invites in the chest. You have to have an invite item to get in. It's a little scroll-looking thing that you'll see in the chest that says ceremony invitation. So go ahead and grab one of those if you want to come and join us at the Eternal Bond on Saturday for Defensor and Avalon, and that'll be during Summerfest. Like I said, again, that's noon Pacific, 2 p.m. Central, and 3 p.m. Eastern. The official dates of Summerfest, that's the 23rd, the 24th, and the 25th. Event times and content will all be listed on the Azure Summer Festival page on the website. There may be some more information as well on stuff getting announced throughout the week. So there's going to be a lot of ads coming out through our chats and our Discords and our social media and stuff like that. You're going to see. Again, you can expect a whole number of back-to-back crazy stuff. Like I said, parades, contests, races, raffles, a PvP tournament, game shows, fun stuff that we're putting together for our community here in Final Fantasy XIV. No, we don't do this kind of content just yet in our wings. A lot of our wings are kind of lower key in activity and are still building. But 90-something% of our members are in FF14. So this is kind of where our home base is. And it will all be streamed. It will all be streamed. This is the first summer festival that will be streamed and recorded. So we're going to have a really fun record of that on our YouTube by the end of it all. Be able to look back on those memories. It's going to be really cool. And definitely have VC open through the whole weekend. I mean, it's always open, but people are welcome to come in, chat, hang out, and just have a good time. That's what it's about. It's about having a good time. It's about doing some fun stuff that a lot of people don't get to see or do every day in 14. We're at a point right now where Dawn Trail has been out for, going on, almost 2 months. And, of course, there's lots of stuff to do, but it's a little more chill. It's kind of perfectly positioned to just kind of have a lot of fun together. And so we really hope you guys check out the program that is going to be posted on the website soon on our community site, AzureInfinitum.com. That's our site for our community. And then just take a look at the content there. It's going to be quite a bit of events. Probably, I don't know, I want to say close to 30 hours of events over those 3 days. So it's going to be something. So, before we move on to the next phase, our phase 2 of 3 of the topics that we have here today for our announcement panel, I would like to hold our first raffle. And we got some really cool stuff here in the prize pool. I'm going to come to the middle of the room so I can see rolls. If you are here in-game, in a moment, I'm going to say go. And when I do say that, go ahead and do /random when I say go. If you are on Twitch, go ahead and put a 3-digit number in the stream chat. You can enter the raffle, and if you're in-game here with us in Final Fantasy XIV, then your number will be considered for the raffle. And then the Grand Assembly chat in VC, for that VC channel, you are also welcome to post a 3-digit number there as well. So you're able to random it. You can post a 3-digit number, totally up to you. Ready, set, go. The number closest to my roll at the end will win a prize. All right, see lots of numbers coming in chat here. I'm going to go ahead and make it full screen here for the stream. The stream can kind of see the numbers as well. Like I said, if you're watching via Twitch and you're not in game here with us, and or you just want to post it there, totally up to you. You can also do that in the Grand Assembly VC chat as well. 3-digit number between 1,000 and 0. Or 0 and 1,000. Alright, see numbers coming in all over the place. Good, good, good. I'll give that a minute or so here. This weekend's going to be pretty big. Who's excited? Anybody here looking forward to attending events this weekend? Yeah, I see that. I see that excitement. Yep, it's going to be a good time. Yep, and if you haven't rolled yet, there's still a little bit of time here to put in a /random in game here at the FC Grand Assembly Chamber, or alternatively post a 3-digit number in stream chat on Twitch, or chat in the VC. Good thing I brought 2 water bottles. Hydrate, yes. Yeah, it's typically a habit that I formed years ago doing our live panels. I would always bring at least 2 water bottles. So we're always in that 1 to 2 hour slot, and it's usually like somewhere within the first hour. It's very easy to get thirsty after talking for a while. All right. Okay. Good. There's let's see. The general the second time, is that? Oh, I see. Because oh, they got the same number. Okay. So Jen's second number will count. Yep, typically if we get some of the rolls the same number, very small chance, but if it happens, we'll have someone roll the a second time and count that. Water bottles with a hint. No, they're not ranch flavored water. No. I have had ranch soda. It was absolutely horrible. It was the only thing ranch that I would say was bad. It smelled like or tasted like Mr. Clean and feet. Horrible. It does exist. It does. The same company also makes like cream corn soda, peanut butter and jelly soda, barbecue rib soda, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's... Yep, something ranch flavored that wasn't good. When they opened it, it was like there was like smoke coming out of it. It was very strange. I didn't know if it was going to be like a genie type situation or what, but Ranch Genie. Oh my god. All right. I'm going to go ahead and roll. And the number closest to my roll, I'm going to announce a stop here in game. And time. There we go. Okay. The number closest to mine is going to win some nice stuff from Dawn Trail. See a couple numbers there in our chats, in our other chats here. Okay, cool. Okay, and here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh my god. 722. I think it was 772 was the number we had two numbers of. Wow. So 722, is there any, let's see, high 600s? There is kind of one. Ooh, that's close. Let's see, that's 50 away. 667 is, ooh, that's really close. Okay, we'll do the math here. 23 plus 22, 55? I mean 45? So what, Phoenix is 45 away. Major is, wait, hold on. Let me just double check again. 722 to 772, that's 50. 45 versus 50. Looks like Phoenix. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong. I'm seeing Phoenix. Yep, that's, yep, do the math again just to be sure. Yeah. All right. Congrats, Phoenix the Bard. By 5. By 5. Congratulations. Congratulations. And Phoenix the Bard gets a Electro Barding and 100k. Congrats. That's the barding that comes from this EX2 of Dawn Trail. And we've got a couple more raffles incoming. Between the next next couple phases. Okay, let me see here. All right, phase 2. Okay, so what first thing you want to go into for our second segment here of discussion is the FC rankings and activity. So activity is always very important to us. Here in the Azure Council, we are constantly gauging activity to make sure that we kind of have a finger on the pulse of the community as well as events, how well things are going. And just overall, you know, keep an eye on stats and things, attendance counts. We do have event reports that are made to kind of describe like just simple facts like how many attended and was grouping successful, did it happen on time. We always shoot for a 15-minute grouping period, so things are kind of quick, and parties are able to deploy after grouping in an organized fashion led by a host, you know, and overall activity throughout the week outside of events is just as important. We know that not everybody can make it to FC events, and always want to stress that, you know, while we love seeing the attendance and getting people to play together is very important, we consider everybody that can't make it as well. And so what we try to do is kind of build and recruit based on different like time zones to kind of provide like a boost in activity and available bodies that are available and around during those time zones to kind of maybe increase the chances that people will need or respond to like requests to run roulettes and things like that. Just a lot of different things and angles that we take to try and address like those times of nights that might be a little like more quiet. That's kind of always inevitable in any community or any guild. But we're doing our very best. And we did have some heavy recruitment this year, which will kind of be kicking back up here soon. We don't want to just coast into the post-Dawntrail era and then die. We want to continue the the momentum and keep riding that momentum. Obviously, there has been a lot of energy put into the Ascension project I mentioned earlier, which was kind of a general overhaul and taking a look at different areas of the community to kind of boost and build up a bit more. We do keep a strong eye on the rankings, although in somewhat recent times, the rankings have become a little bit more difficult to use as an absolute testament to activity for years, even going back to our very first assembly, our very first FC meeting, we just call it the FC meeting, long ago. We would basically take a look at rankings and go, okay, look, we made it to first. That's a sign that we're doing fantastic, and that's about it. But now it's a much more complicated process of comparing and contrasting weeks of activity credits and getting that idea of like, okay, are we really like number 4 or number 8 or whatever, or is it more deceiving than that? And it has been very, very deceiving, given the fact that more and more people over the years have learned how to do what we call boosting, and so they just dump like thousands of like Grand Company seal worthy turn-ins into their GCs, because you get company credits after you get company seals. So no matter how many seals or depending on how many seals and credits you get, will boost an FC's rankings. Buying a house, for some reason, buying a house puts you like up at number 1 for like a week. And so, like I said, there's a number of things that can be very, very deceiving there. If you've got like 20 people that are doing like savage high-end crafts and dumping in thousands of items, it's going to throw that up as the most active FC on the server, and it's going to deceive a lot of people. There's going to be new recruits that are like looking for an active community, and they come in and everybody's quiet, but they're doing those things, and it's going to make them look like they're number 1. So what we have been doing, I've been doing this for a couple months now, off and on, just kind of posting it for our community to see, hey, Azure is actually like number 3. It'll show like 10 or something stupid. But when you go to look at the rankings, you're going to see that there's like, an 8-man FC here just boosting. There's people who are just like, poaching other communities and stuff like that. It's kind of a gauntlet. So, when we announce our rankings now at our assemblies, we want to kind of focus on announcing like the more real rankings. And right now we're number 4. So what I've been doing too graphically is updating it myself and actually doing the work and updating the actual graphics of that page and showing the actual one on our social media and Discord. So that way our members can at least look at that and go, okay, they can be confident in knowing, what's really going on there in FC activity on our server, and understand that, some detrimental blow to our activity has not happened whatsoever, which is what the rankings make it look like, which is really funny. But updating that and showing the credit gain on the side, shows our credits for the week and the month, and we are right on track. Now, I always say this as a disclaimer: rankings, getting up there, that's nice and all. That's never our priority. I've said this since our very first meeting. I know people here who have attended meetings since our first year. Johnny right here has attended since our very first year, and he knows every meeting we say rankings are not our goal or priority, but it is a testament to our activity, and it is very important for us to analyze. So being able to analyze that, because if we see all of a sudden we see like 20 ranks down, we're going to know some massive blow to activity happened. And if we look at the weekly ones, we're going to see that fluctuation, and then we can gather what data we have to kind of look back and go, okay, maybe this didn't work out that week or whatnot. So if anything, it's a tool that we use to analyze how much energy we need to like interject into into the community to kind of boost things, or if we know that, okay, things are going really well this week or this month, that's great, or we see a huge gain and we're like, yeah, we were really successful, and it shows, you know. So it is a way for us to kind of like gauge that and look at that. So just so you know, from the horse's mouth here, just so everybody knows that is not an elitist thing, that is not like something we're trying to beat everybody at. That's just something that we like to announce because we're proud of it, right? I mean, pat yourselves on the back. We've got a community that's active, friendly, you know, works together. Trolls are very, very rare. Usually they're the ones that don't fit in. You know, the trolls tend to get pretty bored with us because we just want to have a good time here. You know, we're here to have fun, right? I'm pretty sure everybody here logs in to have a good time and is not interested in just, you know, a dead or dramatic community where anything goes, like some FCs out there that can be pretty chaotic. We try very hard to establish a community, not just in 14, but community-wide. That's goal is always a kind of harmony between leadership, support, and membership. So we kind of divide ranks into that category and have our organization set that way. So that way we are kind of always aware of each other. There's no members that are left in the dark that don't know what's going on. There's tons of information available. Like this assembly is one. It's one way that we touch base. We also touch base during our podcasts. That's always available. Those releases have been a little slow because we've got a lot we've been preparing for and doing, especially this month. But that is another way to find information. Our website, social media posts every day, Discord active every day. Might be slower some days, but still active. And we want everybody to know too that you can reach out to leadership here anytime. Our council here and you know, my friends here beside me that help run our community with me, we are like always waiting for people to reach out. If there's needs, let us know. We're here. You know, we're not people that just like, you know, oh, we're leaders and we don't want to talk to people. Like that's not that's not how it is here. The people that have ranked up and put in the time and the work here, from our scouts and up here, love the community. There's a love for the community. It's not about rank. It's not about titles. It's not about self-gain or recognition. It's literally about trying to build and manage and cultivate the most active, friendly, organized community that we can create that possible. And that's always our goal. That's always going to be something that we're always kind of fighting for. So it is tremendously loved and defended, and it always will be. And so our activity is something that does mean a lot to us, and we keep an eye on. Recruitment is something that's very healthy for our community, and we, you know, some people go, well, you know, we've got 400 people or 300 people. Why do you want more? Well, this has become a question that's come up a lot in the past, and we say, well, if a community stops opening its doors, you know, because if you don't recruit, you're stopping the opening of your doors. If you don't open your doors, you don't know what friends you might make. You don't know people that might rise to be very effective leadership in the future might not come in, and you're just, you know, you're closing the opportunities. So recruitment opens those opportunities. It creates ripples in the community, and there's people here in this very assembly who have met and formed very meaningful relationships and bonds because our recruitment was open. And when we see that, that means the world to us, because that means we know that what we're doing is effective in building our community. We know that we are doing something here. Evelyn right there, yeah, she says can confirm in the chat. So, you know, there's an example right there, and we've seen many of these friendships, relationships, you know, and just the camaraderie in general is the most important thing. If there's anything that I want people to take away from the meeting, besides, you know, the other fun stuff we've talked about, is definitely to understand that Azure is all about that camaraderie. Sometimes it's so strong that it gets misunderstood. Sometimes people aren't used to seeing an active and organized community parading through the streets of the city-states of the game because they're proud and love their community. Some people sometimes that even scares people. But I think it's amazing that we have something that we can share that's that strong, that can show that to others. So that's really, really awesome. And that's literally the heart of our community, is a daily labor of love. So keeping an eye on our activity and continuing to recruit is always very important. Always want to keep fresh blood coming in, as well as opportunity for our members to, see, you open up the FC menu every day and you look and you see the green, and you see, the little green symbol, so-and-so's joined. And that's very optimistic. That's very oh, okay. Yeah. People are very interested in this community, and they always are. And, it may not be for everybody. Somebody might want a small raid focused, tight knit group of 8 people or something, or 20 or whatnot. But a lot of folks, especially, if any of you meet people that are interested and are kind of on the fence because of our size or whatever, sometimes they're intimidated. Like, oh, well, crap, 300 people, I'm going to be lost in the crowd. But what they don't understand is that we've got different crowds, and those crowds aren't 300. It's, 30 people on a certain night at a certain time zone, and another 20 people on a certain night at a different time zone and a different day. And those shift, all the time. So that's why another, part of the activity percentages is very important to us, because we want to have a, a higher count of active players in those different time zones. So we're doing a lot of analytics here to try and create the, the higher percentages of activity at those different times. So that way there's a good chunk of folks online most of the time. Now, I know, like I said earlier, we've hit that point in Dawn Trail where we're starting to coast a little bit. People are doing their statics, people are doing crafting, they're getting into finishing off jobs they want to level, all these kind of things. Raids have been out now for a few weeks, and we're real close to getting our raid weapons here for those that started week 1. And events are in full swing, which we're going to talk about shortly. There's a few updates and changes to events coming that I want to announce here in a minute. But we're at that point where, middle of the night might be kind of slow, real early in the morning, that 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. slot is kind of sparse as far as as far as people or chats go. But I always want people to understand, too, that there is definitely an ebb and flow to this game and the activity, in 14 specifically. There's an ebb and flow. So that means that there are higher times and there are somewhat lower times as far as activity goes. And it never means oh, something has happened, it just means that okay, we had a burst of excitement for the expansion, and now we're kind of getting back to this regular up and down flow. So so the night times might be a little slower, but the prime times and the afternoons are more exciting and has more chat and things like that. So recruitment will be ramping up as well to increase those opportunities and attendances, awareness for things. We're doing a lot of hard work behind the scenes. So just wanted to give a statement on that, and overall talking about the overall operational analysis from the council and I, we do feel that Azure is on a very, very good track. Like I said, we have fantastic teams. We've got a lot of people that have stepped up to join the Azure Scouts. That's our what we call ASSIST. ASSIST stands for Azure Scout Squad Initiative and Support Team, aka ASSIST. And people that meet certain prerequisites, which are pretty low, a couple months into our community, and some content from I believe we have it set for the first expansion at least, can step up and ask to join the Scouts, which is really just the first step up from membership. And as a Scout, our Scouts have access to support channels. So if there's any specific things to look out for, or reports that need to be made or anything like that, they can do so. Any heads up type messages. And generally there are people who are socially active as well as helpful to the community. We never want anybody of any rank to go so hard at it that it exhausts themselves. There's not huge time requirements or things that we crack down on. We just want to make sure that folks that take our ranks are using them. We always say do what you can with the time you have and never exhaust yourself. That's a thing that we tend to say a lot. We say that a lot. And that can be something that we either approach somebody on or they can ask for it. There is a lot of information on it on our website. Some of that information has been condensed recently. So if you go to Azure Services on the AzureInfinitum.com community site and click Become a Scout or Join Assist, it's Join Assist now. Yeah, it used to say Become a Scout. Now it says Join Assist. On the front page, there's a graphic on the right sidebar that does say Become a Scout today. So you can click those and take a read and see what those are like and what that entails. There's different scout ranks, so they do have different things going on here in Assist. We have hosts as well as supportive active scout sergeants who are also training. Our training is basically just a period of 3 to 6 weeks of shadowing certain scouts that are highly active through events as we kind of bring them through what we call our event protocol. And that's how these events are so successful, because we're putting in people that are gone through the gauntlet with us behind the scenes to know exactly how, when, to be effective and maintaining presence. And there's a lot of stuff that's important for our event hosts. So a lot of that is going on behind the scenes that members may or may not know or think about. Overall, the state of our community is very positive. We will talk about wings here shortly, but I do want to mention that as a multi-game community, there can be challenges, and I think that what we're doing to kind of make our extensions, our wings, kind of casual for the meantime until they build up with enough support and leadership of their own, which will be combined into the universal Azure Leadership and Council. Over time, as those things grow, they're doing well, and the people that are joining them are under the impression that they are casual at first, probably for a while. Some may even remain casual, but building up those small, smaller communities. There are people that we're meeting that are also coming to 14, which is really cool too. And then seeing folks that may not be in any game yet, but are joining, our Discord and chatting, and then wanting to get into the games that we play. It's also really, really neat. And so we're sitting on an awesome, epic foundation for all of that right now. And it's just basically the sky's the limit, no pun intended. Or as we found out in Endwalker, the sky's not the limit. But moving on here, before we get to our next raffle, I do want to talk about the event schedule. So the status of our weekly events and the event schedule return and Dawn Trail plans. So for those that have been here at least a couple years, may remember our Endwalker event schedule roll in, and that was a difficult time. So I don't think I've been able to do this or remembered to do this. For those that know that 2023 and the end of 2022 was a very, very rough year for me personally. That's not an excuse, but there was a lot going on. And I have not really done this yet, but I want to formally apologize for how rough the event schedule roll-in was that year in 2022. There was a lot of difficulties faced by a number of people in leadership, including I, who had limited activity during a 6-month period. I was moving, there was a lot going on, and we didn't want that to what happened then. It was very messy for events rolling in, very, very messy. We had some people who were in leadership that were basically not totally. They were event trained, but they were not really had ever had experience filling the shoes of mine as far as making the duty roster and assigning people to the roster and organizing the roll in and stuff like that, or they had not experienced an event roll back in, because our events do go on hiatus to prepare for an expansion. We give a couple of weeks break, and then we give a couple of weeks into the expansion to analyze everything and collect data and know what fights are and stuff like that. And while they did their best, things got a little disjointed. And so we didn't want that to become the known standard, because every expansion prior was very, very successful at rolling our events back in. But that was why a lot of care and time and patience was put into the Azure Dawn Trail event schedule, rolling those back in. So our flagships is what we call Treasure Thursdays, Monstrous Mondays, Tuesday raid night. Those are big flagships of our events. We're known for those events. Ever since Azure started doing Treasure Thursdays in 2013 or 2014 when Treasure Hunt came out, it not only took off so big in our own community, it took off for others as well. And I do take credit for that. I do take credit for other communities being inspired by us because we have seen it. And seeing people, also get creative in their communities and share, amongst alliances like the one we have across Midgard Stormer leadership, as well as our own alliance, has been really inspiring as well. And making sure that these things roll back in properly and organized with people who have stepped up to volunteer amongst our assist core to host, and then making sure that they're that they take off and grouping is smooth, and these events are organized so that all of you can show up at the lawn and be grouped. This isn't a guild where we have like strict signups and, if you didn't sign up, you can't make it, this is like super easy. You just come to the lawn at the time, and within that 15-minute phase of grouping, sometimes goes over by a couple minutes if needed, but within that 15 minutes of grouping, just show up, be grouped, put in an event. And that makes it easy. So they're always open invite, optional to attend. There's no mandatory attendance. Why would we ever do that? That's crazy. There are guilds that do that. It's nuts, in my opinion. But no mandatory attendance. Optional to attend. Open invite. Now you might see some Discord bot posts that we do have a little thing where you can click your role on it, but that just kind of gives us an idea of who's coming. That's not like an actual sign up. So I don't want anybody to think that's like a sign up. That's just like to let us know what roles might be showing up. And for things like raids, we do want people to know that there are some role adjustments that might have to be made based on the composition of groups that we're making, but we will do our absolute best to fit everybody in the role that they do want to play as much as we possibly can. Do want to give a shout out and a thank you and acknowledgement to those who do show up to events and swap roles. I know it's easiest with 8-man raids because well, it's easy in stuff like maps too, but as far as like role based, like serious role based stuff like raids, it is easy for the 8-mans because you can get pieces you can turn in for anything. It's a little harder and a little rougher for 24-mans when the gear you really need is role based. But for those that do swap roles or jobs during our events, big thank you to those who make those sacrifices sometimes when that comes up. Currently, we have everything but one that has come back, which we just started talking about amongst Assist earlier. The next event announcement will be the return of Azure Fate Farmers, which is going to come next Sunday, actually early in the day on the 3rd day of Summerfest. We'll be doing a Fate Farm, and that's for Dawn Trail to work on shared fate ranks. And not everybody has gotten into shared fate ranks, but they can be very, very useful if you build up your bicolored gemstones, a currency that you get from shared fates. Build up those fate ranks. How many people do we have here that are into farming fates for those? Like how many? Saturday. Sorry, my bad. I meant to say Saturday, not Sunday. That will be Saturday. Thank you, Major. But how many people do we have that kind of once in a while go out and farm fates for the gemstones? The gemstones are very, very handy. They can basically buy from the gemstone shop, which does change. Oh, we got some people who max out. Nice. Yep. We did a lot of those in Endwalker. Okay. Yep. Yeah, and again, Saturday. Saturday, not Sunday. The announcement will be posted for that later tonight. And so what we want to do is we kind of want to continue the same thing we did with the Endwalker Fate Farmers, and that's hold every other week, so bi-weekly, 2nd and 4th Saturdays, taking place at 3 p.m. PST. That's 5 p.m. CST, 6 p.m. EST, every 2nd and 4th Saturday. So that's kind of the Saturdays that are in between the Mountathon ones that we do. So that will be announced and coming up. We want to continue to create an environment where people can kind of just show up, chat in VC, kind of stress-free, just hang out, farm fates and get their fate ranks up. Some might have maxed out like certain zones, but there might be some you don't have. Depending on how the host organizes or who shows up and what's chosen will be announced. And even if you already have one, you maxed out, you can still join the event to farm gemstones, because there's a lot of stuff to get from those gemstone vendors. There's some really, really, really nice stuff. Not to mention EXP, right? You can farm EXP, bring your chocobos. Chocobos help melt the mobs. You also get Chocobo EXP, which you guys know what I'm going to say next. Means you can request a Thavnarian onion from the FC. We actually, did we? No, we didn't put the announcement out yet for this, did we? We'll go ahead and make that announcement here. We would like to announce that we are increasing the amount of Thavnarian onions that we give out to our members. So we have a whole onion project going on that's farmed quite a lot of onions over the years. Big thank you to Terry for getting that going a couple years ago and keeping it running, and anyone else who's helping farm onions for the FC. So what we've done is we've had a thing where we've been telling people, if you want an onion from the FC chest, if you want an onion from the FC chest, request that anytime from a leader who can grab that for you. Some of our scouts, maybe our scout captains may have some on them as well. And then some of the lieutenants also have some on them. Every member can request one per week per member. Normally, we are increasing that to 2 per week per member. So we have found that there have been people who are like really going hardcore at leveling their bird, and they might request one at least twice a week. So, and we have one that we need one right now. If anybody here that can hand one to Adara there. And what we'll do is we'll keep an onion log of like, what your levels of your birds are, so that we know it's fair. If it starts depleting really, really quickly, then we might go back to the 1, but we have so many right now, it's pretty easy for us to do 2 per week per member. So like I said, if you need a Thavnarian onion, good idea to break the Chocobo's level cap, get over level 10. A lot of people don't know that level 10 is not the end. Level 10 is like halfway. You can break it, and you're going to need an onion at each level of the bird, up to 20, and you can level all 3 of the skill trees of the bird, which is great. It's fantastic to have a level Chocobo with you when you're doing fates, beast tribe quests, MSQ, other solo content you might be doing. It's better than you think it is. It's pretty nice. And if you show up to Treasure Thursdays, Fate Farmers, those kind of events, really helpful having a level 20 bird at your side. You can also increase their attack power with Sokus Buds, something else that some people may not know either. And we had one person that had no idea that you could level up your Chocobo. Yeah, you want to unlock the My Feisty Chocobo quest. That's what helps you, I believe it's in South Shroud, if I remember correctly. I know it's between South and Central. Central, it goes back and forth. It ping-pongs between the two during the quest. Very, very fast quest. It takes like 5 minutes or less. Unlock Chocobo training. So we have cracker roots in the FC chest. That is the thing you feed the bird to level it, or give it EXP. You can do that once an hour. Cracker roots. Krakka, Cracker. And they're always in the FC chest. We keep those in there for our members, so don't buy them. Get them from the chest. And go over to the stables. That's what the stables are for. And feed your bird. You can feed other people's birds, too. We actually have a number of people that help feed birds. And lately, you haven't seen a whole lot of birds being stabled. So you go to log out, stable your bird if your bird needs EXP. When the number turns orange, that means it's ready to level. If it's under level 10, go outside of Mist and smack something with your bird out. Don't smack something with your bird. That's Chocobo abuse. Give it a level, and then as soon as it gets to 10, use an onion, and the onion will break that cap. Now, the onions are expensive, so that's why we grow them for the FC, and that's also why we have a cap on them. Otherwise, we'd just put them in the chest, and people could go, gung-ho with them. But the problem is if we do that, then, a chest thief could easily join the FC, take all the onions, and have millions and millions and millions of gil worth. So that's why we have the request system, and that's why we now have 2 per week per member, which is pretty darn good. If you're attending like our Fate Farmers or Treasure Thursdays, you are no doubt going to get a ton of Chocobo EXP. On Thursdays, we also have the Chocobo EXP buff up. Usually, lately, it has been Proper Care on its own. It's usually Proper Care and Man's Best Friend, which is the Chocobo EXP buff. Lately, we've had Proper Care up because maps are very hard on gear. So when we have that on Thursday, that's the reasoning for that. We are still in our... yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm glad you learned that and have a chance to discover that content, because getting your bird leveled up is awesome. It's really, really great. Yeah, especially if you're like a summoner, you're a 3-person party. That's the fun part. But yeah, or even a scholar. So the onions are a huge resource. It's awesome. A lot of FCs just don't even have that kind of thing to offer their members, because it takes a lot of work. It takes 1 week of real life time, guys, and you got to be on it, because those crops can die fast. So, shout out to General Terry for getting up early in the morning every day and checking on the onions across multiple estates that we've got gardens at. And like I said, I'm not totally aware of everybody else who's helping on that, but whoever else is helping on that with him, thank you very much for providing that service to the FC. I think it's really, really nice. And the members, usually are like, wow, like, you guys do this for us? And we're like, yeah, because we love you guys, and we're trying to get everybody, successful and knowledgeable. And, I think an FC that just has random leadership and random members and doesn't actually cultivate them is completely wasting their time. We want to make sure we provide all these services for you guys, from the onions to the events to the buffs to everything we possibly can here. We are still in that 60 days of grade 3 EXP campaign that we're doing. That is 60 straight days of a buff that normally FCs only get 2 per week of. We have a system where we're able to get one every single day. And it's been a lot of time and a lot of effort. They take mats from ships that are crafted and charged for 3 days real time. We start this at the beginning of the year in preparation for an expansion, and collect at least a minimum of 60 for the FC, including whatever other buffs we can charge at the same time. Normally, for about a year and a half period during an expansion, we have grade 2s, which are the standard ones that are paid through from our credits, which come from your activity. All of your activity builds credits every day in the FC, of which we buy our buffs. The special grade 3 ones are only available because it takes 6 days to get 2. So that's 2 per week. That's about 8 per month, which is like the max at an FC. In any FC that's going like hardcore with their workshop and buffs, gets about 8. Thankfully, our Azure depots that we have going on, these are members of ours in our leadership that have estates that are on alts that are dedicated to the resource building of Azure Infinitum, have been able to plan for this ahead of time and charge them. These depots that we have are, of course, they're FC workshops and FCs. They're like faux FCs that are built for alts that help level like resources and stuff, right? So they can always use Magitech repair materials. They can use some mats that are listed on the FC needs list that's on the website. There's actually, I believe it's in our announcement forum, or it might be in the FF14 forum on the website. There should be a pinned post there. It says FC needs list. I think we announced it in announcements not too long ago. Maybe if you scroll up, you'll see it. But the FC needs list does list the items, even the mats that are needed for the repair materials. So donations of those mats are like really, really awesome. And another shout out for the depots. If you have like an alt you want to level, or you just want to help, we could use bodies. Like seriously, we could use bodies, because we need to farm credits in those depot FCs to get the ceruleum tanks needed to be able to power the ships that are leveling, so that the way they can farm mats for the FC and for buffs. And the more of that we have going on, the more funding we get, the more resources we get. There's a point where the subs in those FCs could potentially bring in tens of millions of gil per month to our FC chest on top of Treasure Thursday's funding, which is going to make future Azure Day weekends and Summerfests and all these things much bigger. Imagine if we had 10 to 20 million gil mounts just flying out as raffle prizes. resources. You know what I mean? Things like that. All these things are possible. Being able to buy 50 sets of perfectly crafted, high quality gear and just lay it out amongst the people showing up for raids, or doing pentamelons like they're costing nothing. You know, things like that is in our future. We're building up a whole network of depots and resources that are going to supercharge what we have now for the future and coming expansions. I mean, we've got the next 10 years we're looking at right now, 14 and Azure, and setting this up now is really important. So little highlight there for the depots. If anybody's got an extra alt character and you just want to run through an MSQ, or you want to farm a dungeon, maybe run like an anti-tower and grab the gear from it on unsynced a few times and throw it into that FC's credit pool or whatever. Really, really, really awesome if we had any bodies that are doing that, because we've only got a couple people doing it all on their own right now, and it is like rough. So, and they're still going to do it. It's just it would be amazing to have any of those bodies. So who you want to talk to is, you want to talk to our hand here, Major Pain. If you've got some extra time or energy to dedicate to helping with that, yeah, talk to the hand. Yeah, exactly, Rackvash. Yeah, talk to the hand. Exactly, talk to the hand. Major Pain here. He is like our major depot guy. And and that's a pretty big thing. Or, like I said, alternatively, if you just want to donate some Magitech repair materials, you can throw those in the FC chest too. That's also a big help. So those are definitely two things there. The Azure needs list, like I said, it's actually not an FC needs list. It's an FC and more, because there are some wings listed on there too. So we do have some needs in our wings. We have anybody out there, and I'm going to talk about the wings here in our third segment, which we want to get moving on here pretty quick here soon. But if anybody out there does play any of the other games that we have wings for, it is a very good opportunity right now to get in as what we call a Pathfinder. That's a special role that's in our wings for a person who helps kind of spearhead those guilds early on, wants to help recruit, help build resources, or just play and level up with us as we're getting characters that are up. Some of them, we've got people who are in endgame level now. Some of them are kind of dormant and just waiting for more help with those. There will be stuff like that listed on the needs list as well. So good chance to get involved early. And, potential support and leadership ranks await in those scenarios in the future as things build. So, little shout out to that here. And, so we've got Monstrous Mondays is currently focused on, that is our Monday, Dawn Trail EX trial, clear and learning party. So we want those showing up to Monstrous Mondays to understand that, yes, it is a learning party. Clears do happen. They actually happen pretty regularly. There's at least one of the two parties. We usually see about 2 parties of people, roughly 16 or so people, maybe a little more or less, that show up during a Monday for EX trial, learning, and clears. At least one party usually sees a couple clears, which is really neat too, because that's also a shot at weapons and wings, the wing mounts that you see, which are really, really awesome. We want to keep doing EX1. That's Workhorse Lardor Extreme. We want to keep doing that for a while longer. It's still pretty new. We will switch it to EX2 eventually. So for those who are like excited and looking forward to that, this is a good time as well. If you're already like, say you're like, EX1, easy peasy, right? If you're one of those and you're doing EX2, it's a great time to get involved with, kind of getting yourself ready and trained for that when Monstrous Mondays hits, because we could also use bodies who are good at it to join those that are learning it, and then increase our chances of getting more people in the FC clears. Because the more that we can get each other up and successful and built up, we build each other, we win. We have more people available, more people equipped and ready to go for future raids, making future content and future events more successful, and it's a snowball effect. So I always promote, help each other, support each other. If you've already got a clear for something, and it's still important to show up at our events and chat with people, get to know members, and have a good time and help each other. So people that know EX1 are also just as needed as folks that want to learn it for the first time. And newbies are 100% welcome to the fight. Yes, Major. Yes. I'm not going to comment on that, but that is a funny quote there. So, but we want to get people, like knowledgeable and up on content, right? Monstrous Mondays is going to continue EX1 for a little bit longer before starting to switch to EX2. Then once it starts doing EX2 more regularly, we've got a couple months until we see patch 7.1. So that's a little while until 7.1 and its lovely new trial that'll be coming out at that point, as well as the 24-man raid series later this year. And you guys are making me laugh in FC chat. So there will be a point that we want to have enough time as well. Like, we're not going to try to wait till the end of 7.0 to do EX2. We're not going to wait all the way till the start of 7.1. We do want to do EX2 eventually, but a little bit longer. And then if we start seeing people regularly clearing it, we'll just rotate them like we normally do with Mon. We'll rotate between EX1 and EX2. So Worker Lord or Extreme and Everkeep Extreme. Let me see. Tuesday raids going very well for several weeks in a row, guys. We saw triple attendance. Triple attendance is when we see the targeted attendance. So targeted is the minimum, or the what we would consider like the basic need to complete the event comfortably. So 8 times 3, that's 24 people. We've seen even more than that. We've seen upwards of 40 people attending raids some weeks, including the late night one as well. Don't forget that if you can't make it during the day, but you're up later in the night, specifically during the 10:45 EST to just around close to midnight EST, that time frame, and you want to raid with the FC, we are having those as well. Azrilla, that would be Major. Major is the hand of the master. Yep. And so that would be Tuesday nights. Tuesday nights doing very, very good. We're going to be continuing Arcadian Raid Tuesdays all the way to 7.1. That content will be useful and helpful to all members who want to clear, unlock, and get their weekly drops every week until 7.1, which is expected roughly October-ish. Hold on, I gotta move here so I don't get kicked. There we go. I got the warning message. All right, so roughly that October, hopefully not November, but hopefully October range, we'll see that 7.1 drop. We'll be keeping an eye on the live letters to know when that's coming. So far, a lot of what's been planned for 7.0 is now out. Raids, maps, and more has been released. And looking at the next day on our schedule, which is Wednesday, Wondrous Wednesdays, which does Wondrous Tales Journal content. I'm very curious here. Who here among us right now on Twitch, on Discord, and in-game, who has never done a Wondrous Tales journal? Anybody here that's never done one before or doesn't know what they are? Okay, we got 1, 2, okay. Okay, we got a couple people here that hasn't done one. Okay, Wondrous Tales is a lot better than some people think. It's actually a fun little activity where you get stickers put in a kind of almost like a bingo pattern based on content that's shown in the book. So you can pick up a book every couple weeks from what's her name? It's not Chloe. Is it Chloe? There's Chloe and Zloe, and I get them. And Zloe's the turn-in one for I think it is Chloe, right? So you go to Chloe and Idylshire. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Idylshire. I always call it Idylshire, but that's probably not right. I know it's not Ideal. It's like Idylshire. You unlock Wondrous Tales, and you get a journal that has some content in it, and you complete it. Well, technically, you could do it probably, maybe over a day or so. Depends on how fast you are. You can unsync the content as well, which makes some things go really super fast. We have an event called Wondrous Wednesdays every Wednesday. It's very, very helpful to those that show up and have Wondrous Tales books. Pick up your books, come along, spend a good probably hour and a half, 2 hours max if it's needed. Sometimes it's not. With the FC doing a number of content from starting with Shadowbringer stuff and sometimes backtracking a little bit through like Heaven's Word and ARR is so easy. We pretty much feel like, those fights, some of those fights are like 3 seconds long. So some people can, do those on their own, which can be very helpful. But the ones that are good to have a group for to knock out real quick, like I said, Shadowbringers CX Trials, might even see a mount drop on those. Oh, thank you. It's a new book every week, but you have 2 weeks to complete it. So, yeah, thank you. So those can be really fun to do as a group. Wondrous Wednesdays can be a really relaxed type of event too. Come into VC and listen or chat in just kind of a casual environment as we just kind of go through a bunch of speedy unsynced clears. The rewards for Wondrous Tales journals, which start at 60, you can get it at 60 after you complete Heaven's Word. So it's content that lower level players can definitely engage in. Although we do recommend having a couple more expansions than Heaven's Word under your belt when you show up, because most of the content in the book is going to be like Shadowbringers, Endwalker, and Stormblood stuff. The raids that are in it, it's always going to have a couple raids. It's going to have roulettes. It's going to have a whole bunch of trials. And the trials is really like the meat of it, where we're going to do all the trials together real fast, unsynced. And the more lines you get in your book from doing the little bingo thing that goes with it, the more rewards you get. And there's some nice stuff. There's actually some cool stuff you can cash in over at Idleshire. Chloe's got a whole prize reward list, as well as stuff that can actually sell for a lot. There might be, big chunks like, tens of thousands of MGP. There's gear. There's tomes that you get out of it. All kinds of fun stuff. And so it makes for a nice little midweek casual event that we call Wondrous Wednesday Nights. Every Wednesday night, starting at 7 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. CST, and 10 p.m. EST. And this last Wednesday debuted. It was a little bumpy at first. We had a couple miscommunications on grouping, but we took off, and we're looking forward to next week. We want to kind of spread awareness in the FC and say, hey guys, either if you don't know about Wondrous Tales, it can actually be pretty cool, and you can do it pretty casually, and it's fun with the group. And then if you didn't know, Wondrous Wednesdays is back in Azure. Wondrous Wednesdays. And those WT parties, Wondrous Tales parties, will be active each week from here forward. Thursday, done very, very well. Friday as well. Friday and Thursday are our map days. Treasure maps are a lot of fun in 14, and they have a ton of really good rewards, from tomes to minions, to furnishings, to orchestrion rolls, to glamours, all materials, all kinds of stuff. We've got people that sometimes score 10 million gil worth of drops. And we do fundraising. Fundraising is done 3 weeks of the month. First Thursday and Friday of the month is always the free night. We call it a free night because we don't do fundraising on those nights. And the fundraising that we do is a tradition of ours going back to 2014, where we have a tracker in the party track just the encounter dropped gil. Sometimes it's very little compared to the overall outcome that you'll get. You're going to end up with hundreds of thousands of gil and items that are worth millions potentially. We'll have each person will deposit at the end like a 50% based on what the tracker has tracked on the normal encounter dropped gil, which is great for funding the FC. That goes towards our stuff like this coming weekend, stuff like the raffles we do here, gear needs when people show up to an event and they're slightly under eye level, all kinds of little things like that. Very, very handy to have that gil fundraising. Sometimes the gil fundraising has been like misunderstood in the past, or people thought it was weird or strange or something like that, but it is announced way ahead of time. It's on all of our event descriptions for the event, and it is something that is actually pretty small in comparison to what you can get out of that event. Like, there's so much. I mean, so much. Sometimes it does depend on luck. We've rarely seen this, but the last couple weeks have been a little bit up and down on luck. But don't let that discourage you, because before you know it, you're going to see a bunch of floor 5s, and there's always a chance. And we do this for 2 years straight per map. So now what we're doing is we're letting in like older maps into Treasure Thursdays. And if we have a bunch of people that are like, yeah, we want to do the older ones, we'll try to form a group for that. But it's a little hard when there's only like one who wants to do older maps, and like a ton of people are on the newer ones. And the newer ones are the stuff that's got like, the biggest rewards right now. I mean, if you get the mount from the newest ones, it's going for, upwards of 20 mil or something like that. So Yeah, lots of stuff to earn during those weekends, and not those weekends, sorry, those weeks that we do Treasure Thursdays and Friday Night Treasure Fights. And remember, all event posters are in the event channel on Discord and the event calendar on our website. Also, Mega Mountathon back in action. We've had a couple so far. We had one yesterday. We've seen plenty of the Lynxes drop from Endwalker. I think a lot of people who need them are getting them. If you can show up on every first or third Saturday for a Mega Mountathon, it takes place, I believe we start grouping at 3 p.m. Sorry, hold on. I'm going to take a drink of water here real quick. My voice is cracking. All right. Yes, 3 p.m. PST, 5 p.m. CST, and 6 p.m. EST every first and third. That's every first and third Saturday, and we do the Lynx farming. So that's Endwalker EX Trials Unsynced. We'll do that as well, just like maps. We do it for 2 years based on the current one, the current expansion. Basing it on the current expansion means we do the previous expansion. So we did 2 years of Shadowbringers Gwibbers, and now we're doing 2 years of Lynxes. We noticed that a significant amount of people do not have Lynxes, and that a lot of people did not clear EX Trials from Endwalker. That's great for Mountathon because that gives us a chance to, a lot lower stress than trying to do it when it's current. And you also get something really nice at the end if you get them all, which is really cool. So we'll be focusing on one fight at a time for a little bit and kind of see, like we did Zodiark for a couple weeks to try to see, who needed the Zodiark links. And then we're going to be going on to Heidelin next, and then, going forward. So, if you are interested in those mounts and are able to be free on those first and third Saturdays, definitely come along to Mega Mountathon. Mega Mountathon is also a pretty special event too. We started during the pandemic, and there's a little article as well on our site about how we took mount farming to kind of a whole different level with that, and it was a lot of fun making that event, and glad that that's still kicking. And of course, if you are in our Destiny wing, we've got about 60 active Azure Wardens that group up on Sundays and on Fridays for weekly community and clan content. We have a number of people that are not in the actual Azure Wardens clan, but are in the Destiny 2 Azure community overall, as well as our clan. So we've got, veterans and all kinds of folks that show up to play. You don't have to be in the Azure Wardens clan to attend. We do a number of things based on weekly rotators and current content. As far as other events for Wings, those are not established just yet. We want to kind of see a regular active flow in those communities as well before we start doing weekly content in them. But our event schedule is fully back and fully operational, and doing very well. Like I said, Treasure Thursdays and Raid Nights have seen triple attendance for several weeks in a row. That's really, really awesome. That's right on target. And don't forget, there's one more I hadn't mentioned. That's Super Azure Slayer Sunday, taking place every second and fourth Sundays. And that's a bi-weekly PvP frontline event. Rival Wings when we can pop it, but usually frontlines. A lot of people I noticed are a little intimidated by PvP content. It's not as bad as you think. Sometimes you just go into a front line with your friends, or you do the roulette alone, and you can go in on a job that you need EXP for and switch and still get the EXP for it when it ends, if you didn't know. Frontline is a lot better than people think it is. There is actually a ton of rewards from PvP. There is not only the stuff you buy with wolf marks at the Wolf Den and trophy crystals at the Wolf Den, but there's also stuff you get from what some people call the Battle Pass, or the seasonal Malm Stones, as it says on the PvP menu, little button that goes to that menu. And it is like a Battle Pass thing. So the more you play, the more stuff you get off the Battle Pass. This stuff is very unique, and it is time-based, and it will go away every patch with no sign of coming back. And that's minions, mounts, and glamours and framers kits and other stuff that shows up on there that goes away. And so far, from the seasons they've had so far with it, we've seen none of it come back. So you could be missing out on some really cool stuff from not running frontline roulette once in a while. And like I said, it doesn't matter if you're like, if you're like, oh, I'm kind of intimidated because I'm not good at PvP. You don't have to be good at PvP. Just go in, see what it's like, run around. If you don't do well, you don't do well, but you're going to get the rewards anyway. Smack stuff if you can. And try to take some bases. It's team-based, so you're not expected to go duke it out with people. It's mostly running around from objective to objective and trying to keep other teammates from dying. If you're a healer or if you're a tank, you kind of harass and spam and stun. And if you are a and when I say harass, I mean like stunning, like you're just running around stunning a lot of healers and stuff like that, and people. If you are, like shield bashes and things like that. And if you're DPS, you just do your best, try to hold off the enemy when they come into your, your base or whatever. But it's like if you just go in and die, even, it's still a ton of stuff you can get. And we do it together. We die together. We go in together on Super Azure Slayer Sunday every other Sunday. That's the second and fourth Sundays of the month, and those are a good time as well. And it's a lot less boring too when you have a group to do it with. We saw a whole bunch of people show up for the past one last week, 1 week ago from today, and it was a lot of fun. And let's see here, I believe. I'm not 100% sure yet if we're going to be doing it during Summerfest like the other events we're doing, because we also have the 1v1 PvP tournament, and it's a perfect time slot for that. So the 1v1 PvP tournament, Azure Grand Duel Tournament 25, will take place on Sunday during Azure Summerfest, and it may be replacing the time slot for Super Azure Slayer Sunday, aka SAS. And yes, we call it Super Azure Slayer Sunday because calling it Azure Slayer Sunday would have kind of a regrettable, if you get what I'm saying, a little bit of a bad abbreviation there. So, without further ado, before we move on to the final announcements we have here to talk about, more stuff here coming up next. We're going to be talking about the first 8 weeks of Dawn Trail and beyond for Azure. Also be talking more about our Azure Wings here in a moment and giving some special acknowledgments as well as Q&A if anybody wants to ask any questions about stuff we've talked about here at the assembly, or if you've got proposals or announcements of your own, static type recruitment, anything else. That phase is coming up here in a little bit just after the last few announcements, but we're going to take a short break and do our second raffle. I'm going to come to the center of the room here with Rika, and if you are in game and you would like to enter this raffle, use /random now. If you are in Twitch, you are welcome to put a 3-digit number between 0 and 1000 in the chat. And if you are in the Grand Assembly chat on in our VC here, you're welcome to put a 3-digit number that is between 0 and 1000. They'll be entered to the raffle, and the number closest to mine when I roll after I call time on it will win a awesome prize from Dawn Trail. Also want to thank you guys for bearing with me here. We're about an hour and a half into our assembly here, and let's see if we got just a few more things to talk about. And we're going into Q&A, and we'll be doing another raffle. Oh, yeah. That's a great idea, darn. Great idea. Darn says, "What's the prize a day with Reagan?" No, it's a Dawn Trail prize, Dawn Trail raffle item. I don't know about that, Major. A beach trip. Not bad. Haven't had one of those in a while. A bottle of ranch with you. Yep. Can always use one of those. And no joke, people have mailed me ranch as a gift before from the FC. It's great. I have a constant supply. I'm going to put raffle numbers up here on the screen from the in-game chat. I really need to set up one of those like services where you could, like, you know, like Twitch streamers, you can buy them coffee, that kind of thing. Let me see. I do have a Throne account. Maybe there's ranch on there I can add. That's that service where you can gift people things, that put things on a wish list. It's a pretty cool service. I don't know if Canadian ranch is different than US ranch. I've pretty much only had US ranch as far as I know. We're gonna find out. Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious. Oh, yeah, like Canadian bacon versus regular bacon. What is Canadian ranch? Spiced milk was interesting. Canadian ranch is just a bottle of milk. I don't know if I want to pour milk on my pizza. That doesn't sound great. Mayonnaise and maple syrup. My goodness. Maple ranch. I would try that. I would try that. I would try that. I can make that, actually. I prefer my pizza damp. Okay, okay. See, you want to get a bucket first thing. That's like your number one tool. And then you want to make sure that you completely submerge it. Get some gloves. Yep. Yep, moist. Yep. So, I feel like anything tomato or Italian is really, really good with ranch. I really do. I put ranch on raviolis, spaghetti, you name it. Although with spaghetti, like a nice, cool, like crisp layer on top, you know, just perfect, wonderful. I don't really like to, like, you know, like blend it in to where it's like a bright orange color. Like that's kind of meh. All right, let's carry on here, guys. Oh, I love you guys. All right, there's my roll. That's time, and 256. Who is close to 250? I see Necro Titan at 266. That's 10 away. I need to keep looking here. Mine's 256, so let's see. Any other twos? Turian, just a little bit off. Two. Let's see, is there any low threes? No, I don't know. Necro is really close on that. 266. Mine's 256. That's 10 away. Yeah, that's more. Oh, Jadan at 246. That's 20 off. So 240, yeah, Jadan's 240. 246 is 10 away. But so is Necro. Necro's 266, so both are 10 away. Yeah, so 256 minus 10, 246. Plus 10 is 266. No, you don't have to. You don't have to re-roll. We have a tie, and I actually had 4 prizes. So go ahead and both of you, Necro and Jadan, come up and get something here. Congratulations! Got a double win. All right, let me go ahead and put this in FC chat. Skyruin Barding and 100k. Congrats. Necro. Ambrose. That's a little bit more expensive, so you get that minion. There you go. I didn't link it. My bad. It was the Ambrose minion. Congratulations! We will have one more raffle. We got one more. One more just after the next few announcements. Next phase won't be very long. So let's get back to here. That was a really fun chat we had. Okay, so Azure and Dawntrail, the first 8 weeks and beyond. This is part 3 of the Azure and Dawntrail first 8 weeks talks that we've had here, starting a couple months back in April and June. We talked about the first 8 weeks of Dawntrail. Back in April, it was a lot further back, and we were kind of like, still gearing up for the expansion. In June, we were like just before it. We went into early access, and then we started our 8-week period. So the first 8 weeks of an expansion is our event rollout, our 60 days of grade 3 buffs, all that fun stuff that we've talked about here today and have been talking about all year here for Azure. But going forward, the main things we're looking at here is the next couple months going into 7.1. Kind of mentioned a little bit of it earlier. We're kind of looking at what we've built so far into Dawntrail as like a launch pad, and then we'll be keeping the same kind of like event schedule and then updating it as we go. So we're going to see Mon move into EX3 when that comes out. Hopefully by then we've got like lots and lots of folks that have learned and cleared EX1 and 2. We're going to see new rewards coming in the future for Wednesday nights and Thursday and Fridays events. Also a good idea to remember that for, like I said, for the PvP stuff, the Battle Pass will be updated and changed probably around that October-November 7.1 release. So another thing to look forward to is like, not only are the events popular, but as we go, the same content and those events themselves do get updated. They do change, which also kind of gives a sense of urgency to either get that content cleared or unlocked or whatever you want to do with it, whatever you're interested in, and attend those events too while those are active. If you're needing raid clears and you haven't started Arcadian by 7.1, Azure won't be returning to Arcadian from that point until 7.2 when the next tier comes out. So something to keep in mind. And what we will be doing is we'll be swapping Tuesday over to Azure 24-man Tuesdays, Echoes of Vana'diel, in a couple months. And that'll be our 24-man grouping will return to Tuesdays at that time. I know a lot of people that have been here for a while are like, oh yeah, I'm used to the swap that happens, but there's a lot of new people that don't know that swap happens, and that's where we fit that in. Why Tuesday? Because it's the reset day of the week. Reset day is when all the weekly rewards and everything gets reset, and it's the day that's going to most likely have the most attendance for something like a raid night. I kind of wish weekly reset was closer to the weekend, since we'd see a lot of more people available and free from work and stuff like that. But at least we host it at a time that's kind of in that prime time that gets kind of like the most that we can get. And so we'll go back to, for 24-man Tuesdays, we'll be going back to Party Finder grouping when that happens. We're still a couple months away from that, so we're not like stressing about that like too much right now. Not that it's any stress at all, but it is something to consider that what you're doing now will have an effect later. That means Arcadian rewards you're getting now, stuff you're grouping up and stuff you're grouping up for, and stuff that you're gearing, jobs that you're gearing now, is stuff that you can go into those future events of ours and content that's coming with the stuff that you gained from those. So you're like thinking, I can't wait to get into Azure 24-Man Tuesdays with the FC when that comes out. But you're preparing for it now by doing Arcadian. So good way to think ahead and kind of be like, yeah, I want to be a player that's going to be useful to the groups and geared, and not just be running on like 690 gear by the time we get to 7.1. It's a good chance. I know a lot of people are big on getting the crafted stuff and getting overmelded, but it's just a reminder to those that want to get involved at that time, that once we start looking at that, we're coming up on 10 plus weeks in, we're going to start looking even more towards that 7.1 content. So by the end of the year, we will see a number of our special events return. Special events are Azure Days and Summerfest. So Summerfest starting, we actually started with Celebration of the Azure Sky. It was the first special event we ran this year, starting with the third and fourth quarter and going through the end of the year. We're going to be seeing also the Summerfest weekend coming up. We're going to be seeing the anniversary in November. We've got special event days planned for Azure Saints Wake in October, as well as Starlight Day towards the end of the year. September is the only weird month in the year because it has no major holidays that the game supports that we also get really deep into. There is the Rising, which runs for a little bit right after Moonfire Fair. Interesting that actually will probably also be up, I think maybe Sunday. I don't know. Usually Moonfire Fair transitions into the Rising, which is 14's anniversary in game. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe that stage will be back and we can take a picture on that too for the Rising. That one's usually pretty cool. We haven't done that in a while. But taking a look at first 8 weeks and beyond, well, we're here. We're here on what is this? This is week. I think this is this week 8, starting from early access. If it's not, we're close. I don't want to spend time doing the math on that, but we're basically in that phase where we're coming into looking at week 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, all the way up to 7.1. And so our outlook now as a community, and for those that are looking forward in the future to future Azure events and content, we're building up now for those coming events. This is even including stuff like recruitment, folks that are returning, getting active, getting into the content that came out that maybe they weren't in early access and they're coming back for what's come out in Dawntrail. But every time that we're in a patch, it's the next patch that our eyes are set towards. So we're like getting stuff ready now and then going into that next one. I would love to see tons of people come into 7.1 Mon, with EX1 and 2 done. I would love to see tons of people come into Echoes of Vana'diel with, full of Arcadian and 710 gear and 720 gear that they got as well from Tomes. Would love to see those groups that show up then, not just at eye level, but like well prepared because they got to attend events, or if they couldn't attend events, they were like, well versed on what to expect that may be needed in the future for that content. Always something to look forward to, always something on the horizon to prepare for, which is great that the game provides that. It's not really what I would call insanely grindy, but those that can make it to events, or even if you can't make it to events, call out in the FC when you're doing stuff. Say, hey guys, anyone for this? And I know sometimes people don't answer. Sometimes everybody's AFK or busy, but it doesn't hurt to keep doing it. Don't be discouraged. Say, anybody for roulettes? Anybody for this? I would like to try to do this. And most of the time you're going to get at least somebody that might be interested, or even somebody that say, I would do that, but maybe I can help you, but I can't right now or something. We want a community that plays together, right? You're not going to find a single FC out there out of millions. You're not going to find a single FC that doesn't have downtime and doesn't have moments where people don't respond. That is normal. That is completely normal. I want everybody to know that, because it's there can be 20 people online. You don't know what those 20 people are all doing at that moment. They might not. Some might be tabbed out. Some might be AFK. The other 5 might be I don't know, in a duty and can't respond. You never know. Some might be checking retainers rapidly as I do, and just the messages are just flying through the chat box and they don't see them. You never know. So it's really easy to get that anxiety of, oh, people don't like me, or I'm not important enough for people to respond to. And that's something I really care about reminding you guys that's usually not the case. Usually that's not the case. Like, there's nobody out there going, that person, like, people usually don't do that. Like, from my view and everybody I talk to in our community, like, I really don't think that that's a thing. If you don't get responded to, just kind of take a look at SC chat and see how busy people are. Maybe ask again in a few minutes, or maybe just, take a consideration of what time it might be. Might be, 3 a.m. You're not going to get a clear party for something that's 5 years old. I mean, it could be, you're not going to have 20 people in the SC jumping up at right after 40 people just did an event and they're all exhausted. Definitely have those considerations. But at the same time, it is up to our members to be vocal, be social. We want to press that socialness is important. If we see people that leave and they say, oh, I didn't really feel like I was a part of the community, but inside, some of us in Scouts are up, we might, because, we're keeping an eye on things the most, from assist to leadership. We're like, oh, that person never spoke much. How could they possibly feel connected when they're not putting in the effort to connect with the rest of the community? And so that's something I like to touch base on, that it's really a good idea to just, put in that little extra effort to chat a little bit, develop a persona in the FC, and even if you're not in game, you've always got Discord. You've always got a chance to just say a little something now and then. I mean, it's kind of ingrained in me to be social as a leader as well as a player. But I like we'll sometimes sit down and I'm like, okay, I'm going to leave every chat I can with a message from me, as the latest message, just so that there's like something recent from me so that I'm seen. But that's great for our members too. If we could all be, social enough to kind of know who each other is, because that might also, get people to respond more too. They're like, oh yeah, I know that person needs that content. So like, I'll definitely be down to help them or whatnot, versus like, I have no idea who this person is or what they need, and I'm kind of busy and I don't really feel like responding, which is also okay. You're not, you're not committing a crime by not wanting to help, but definitely for those that might have that anxiety, people don't hate you. Sometimes people are just busy, and that's a normal thing. But that's also why we're trying so hard to press for socialness and an increase in activity and recruitment and stuff, is so that we continue to kind of fight that perception. Because as we say sometimes, perception is sometimes reality for people. Just like with people that don't understand Azure, perception. They see something from the outside. Why are these people so happy and marching around in blue and shouting their slogan? They must be a cult, and we just kind of have to like laugh and be like, you just don't understand the joy that we have. You don't understand the organization we have. Well, perception can be the same in other cases. Oh, they must be elite because they have these amazing events all the time, and if you don't get into them, you're not important. And that's not the case either, by far. That is something that we can't possibly have an event at 24 hours a day. But we do our very best, and we have a lot of opportunity and a lot of options for folks that can get involved in other ways. I mean, we've got folks that we may, just one example, not going to name names, but we have a scout that can't attend events due to work schedule, but is available at a time of night that we really need somebody, more eyes on things at a time of night. Perfect. Great use and great purpose for that person to be an assist for. And, and so there's a lot of opportunities that some of our members don't really think about, are opportunities to get involved with the community and be more here. And if you're just happy being a member and you're like chill and you like coming to, hear the announcements at the assembly and you're not wanting to get into assist or anything, also fine. We need good people at every level. I try to explain all the time to folks that our roles and ranks here are not like so much as a ladder as they are a horizontal bar of, we need someone here, we need someone there. If a scout doesn't want to promote and wants to stay in one spot and continue to scout and just kind of help be a light mod, also fine. We need good people at every level. So that is something that's always very important to the council and I. And just a couple things I want to touch base on. As a member, it can be really, really nice just to see your name come up in chat. It really can. And then, of course, it also helps the council and I, because then we know that, someone's, putting that effort to get involved in the community, as well as we touch base with some people and be like, hey, what are your goals and interests? And of course we can't sit down and have a single chat like that with every single person all the time. But we're absolutely doing our best, and definitely want to continue to promote that social activity as much as possible. Sometimes a member can be the catalyst for an active chat. Sometimes somebody could mention, hey, how about good old Final Fantasy 13? And then all of a sudden the chat explodes because everybody has an opinion on it. And so even that can be healthy, to keep chat going. Adventuring in the game and seeing your chat for your FC alive is something I think most players want. And, we're all a part of this. We all build this. We build this, not just me, it's not just the council. We all build this every single day. So going forward in the weeks beyond those first 8 weeks of Dawn Trail, we've got lots of opportunity, lots of optimism, content that's on the way, developers that have listened and is making a crap load of stuff that's coming. We've got Shades Triangle and the Occult Crescent coming. That's going to be an event that will eventually come on primetime on Fridays before Friday Night Maps. Friday Night Treasure Fights. So Friday prime times will eventually have, starting in 7.2, will be, which is the closest thing that we know of when it's coming, because Yoshi P mentioned in that interview that 7.2 is the target for the relics. So we're going to get into a Eureka Bozja-like zone that's coming, that we're going to be starting to look forward to. So it's not just Echoes of Vana'diel, it's not just EX3. We're looking forward to that whole Shades Triangle series of the I don't know if they're going to be called like the occult weapons or what, but Occult Crescent or Crescent weapons or whatever it's going to be. Maybe we get to see Mirage Isle, because that's mentioned as well. That's also a reference to Final Fantasy V. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a lot to look forward to, and Azure's going to be a part of it and adapting our events to every part of it. So beyond these first 8 weeks, this is just the launch pad, guys. This is just the beginning. Dawn Trail's been exciting. I know a lot of mixed feelings on the expansion itself, but the raids have been amazing. Content has been great, and events have rolled back in very, very smoothly. And I want to thank everybody who has attended them, who's been patient, respectful to our hosts. I want to thank our hosts who have put a lot of time and effort into this, as well as those who are in training and have put a lot of effort and time into and care into learning the protocol for those events. There's more to it than you could probably imagine, given that there's a lot of possibilities that can happen. But as far as the first 8 weeks and beyond, we're now crossing into that zone where we are kind of having that collective outlook on what's to come and how we are going to prepare for it, and the excitement ahead. A lot of excitement ahead, including Azure's 12th event of the week. Event of the week, which is that Shades Triangle relic content that's coming, and that's going to be a field operation. That's large scale content, so large scale VC outside of our 24-man Tuesdays is going to get some use here pretty soon. So keep an eye out for that announcement. 7.2 is expected towards the start of 2025, so that is a little bit away, but it will creep up on us before we know it, and we're going to be sitting here in probably the November or December assembly, having some heavy details on it and how we're getting ready to optimize for that. So just want to share that optimism with you guys, and just let you know that there's so much on the horizon and stuff that we're already planning for 2 patches ahead. I have some special acknowledgments as well as wing stuff to talk about here, and then we're going to end with a raffle and our Q&A phase. We are just slightly over time, so I'll keep it quick. But current statuses of the Azure Wings. Currently we have 2 Elder Scrolls Online guilds that are in formation. One has about, well, actually they both have somewhere around, I believe, 30 or so members. of our community. Some that some of you may know that are there, some that some of you may not know who are new. We've had some folks that, like I said earlier, has been interested in our other games from joining those, coming from all of them. But over at ESO, we've actually started some recruitment drives that's a little bit more active than it has been. Major and I have been working on getting through the content of that game. We've got through the base game as well as several expansions and DLCs now, alongside the stuff we do in 14. That's been a lot of fun to do that. We would like to get us and anyone else who wants to join us in that endeavor caught up through the content as quickly as possible. We've done the 3 Alliance storylines as well, and want to make sure that we're knowledgeable enough about the game's content to be able to, maybe a future event that might get held there, or just so that we're ready to, be able to access stuff and know what it is. That's a big part of making a wing, is we don't just want to build a guild in a game we know nothing about. We want to make sure that leadership has control over the wing and knows, what is going on at a basic degree in those games. This goes for any game. But ESO is going very, very well. ESO PC is a little bit further along than ESO PS. We decided to stick to just PlayStation and PC for ESO, Elder Scrolls. We have Infinitum Hall has been established in both games. There is an Infinitum Hall in Daggerfall in PC. It has a number of resources and NPCs and things available. Those are not all very easy to come by like they are in 14. In 14, the NPCs and the hall resources and stuff are a little easier for those that know what they're doing to come by. The stuff in ESO, a lot of it either takes real money or tons of grinding and crafting to get stuff for the hall. So the fact that we have established the whole hall itself in its own instance as well, very, very nice, very, very nice place. Definitely fits the Azure aesthetic, as like a blue roof, and kind of looks like the FC Hall a little bit too. Also has, like I said, a number of resources and some cool stuff to discover there in the hall in game. That's ESO PC. Over on PlayStation, if you play ESO on PlayStation, or those that might be interested in what's going on there, Major had gotten through the base game prior, and then I'm working kind of solo on getting through it on that one. It is kind of hard to take on multiple games like that, so we're spacing out our availability and progress on those. So I'm coming up to kind of where he and I are playing together on the PC one. We've also got Infinitum Hall established in a different place. Just so happens that during Major's first adventure in ESO in the past, he had picked up a super legendary house that's massive. And yeah, the Infinitum Hall is awesome and it's huge in PC, but he's got this like legendary gigantic like cathedral place that's super awesome, that's in its own dimension with like waterfalls and all these different secret places to discover, and it's like really, really super neat. And that's Infinitum Hall on the PlayStation for Elder Scrolls. It's the Sijic Villa, and we had a couple members that donated like a lot of stuff. One specifically gave us a bunch of stuff that was super expensive items, things for the hall, transmute stations, all kinds of cool stuff that is now there and in the little courtyard at Infinitum Hall there. We just had a recruitment drive last week. We had a whole number of people, like close to 30 members that joined last week over there. People have been checking out the hall and enjoying those resources, merchants and more that are found there. And then if you check it out, just don't check behind the meeting chamber. There's somebody built a torture chamber back there. We'll just put it that way. But anyway, going on to the other wings, we've got Star Wars The Old Republic. We've got a flagship established. That's actually something they came out with after the Strongholds. So we not only have a couple Strongholds under our belt, but we've got the Azure Infinitum flagship, which is stationed outside of the Republic fleet. We've got a flagship decked out with all kinds of merchants, resources, NPCs, everything a guild needs, and a good over 100 people have been recruited to our SOTOR guild. Currently, there's about 80 active people that are over there, and we have a number of people from Council and Scout, as well as tons of members and people that are also unique just to SOTOR. That one is actually proceeding really quickly, so maybe it could be the next wing to have an event soon. I don't know, but that's doing pretty well. We don't see a lot of wing people coming into Discord just yet. There are a few that have been joining, and a few that are already here that from 14 that have joined over there as well. But our goal in the future is to see those chats for our wings get a lot more lively. Some of you may notice, if you have it on your chat list, that I post news in there pretty regularly for those games and encourage chat as well. Destiny's been doing very, very well. Our clan there is close to maxing out. Again, it actually resets every season, so it's really great to see that as a kind of a testament to our activity over in Destiny, that our clan maxes out before the end of the season every time. Once again, doing very, very well. We have a handful of veterans that are kind of guiding the newer or like lower level people that are getting their light level up. Getting through Final Shape expansion has been really fun. We've done a lot of those runs. We've done some Grandmaster Nightfalls recently, which is kind of like really difficult content. I'd put it probably as a difficulty tier between normal and savage rating. Is kind of in that range. People that know what they're doing can get through them, but they can also be very challenging. Basically a mode where you can't get hit or hit a teammate. It's pretty crazy. Very hard stuff. We did a series of 0-hour runs and got outbreaks for people right before Final Shape launched, and then after that we've done stuff like Whispers of the Worm, which is an amazing sniper rifle, other gear and stuff. Even when we have 3-man groups that run out, which are basically the most common groups in Destiny are 3-man groups. We've had not only people in VC, but we actually have more people in game that are not in VC usually, and newer wardens that haven't joined Discord yet that also have been active during those times as well. So if you're interested, or you just happen to see us down in the Wing VC, just know that that's probably a third or a fragment of the people that are actually online during those events. Like last time we did the summer event in Destiny, it's like a 3-week thing. We started the Solstice. It's called Solstice 2024, and we started the Solstice grind as a clan, and we saw there was 2 other groups of 3 that were not in VC that were running Solstice content alongside us. So that's really cool to see. If you're listening from there, and you might be watching this later, props for being active over in D2. There's a lot going on with that. There has been some kind of like negative sounding news about Bungie and things going on for a while, but the game's actually in a pretty good place, and some of those things do need to happen. Unfortunately, some of them are unfortunate, like layoffs and stuff, but they've already announced the next year's worth of content and the next episodes that are coming for the next 2 periods of 6-month episodes. So that's actually pretty reassuring. And there's a lot of life left in that wing and in that game. So if you're interested, it's really easy to sign up to our clan. You can actually apply anytime by going to the clan page on the website. Go to azureinfinitum.com and click wings and go to the Destiny 2 page. There's a link to our clan page. You can sign up online with your Bungie account. I can also send invites anytime from my phone. It has a really nice app. And as far as our other wings go, over in Guild Wars 2, it is actually currently somewhat dormant. As I've said before, we had to reboot it after someone who owned it left, took everything with them, and we decided, no more of that. I will make sure that I have full ownership of the wings from now on, and we'll work on rebuilding it. So we started that out, and we've had a handful of people join us over there in Guild Wars 2. I know that the game has kind of a mixed reception, and it is getting older, but it does have new expansions dropping all the time. They're doing an expansion every year, including they've already announced the next couple years worth, including the rumor that 3 is in production. So a lot of life over there, a lot of possibility. The only thing is it's a little difficult to recruit unless you are in person or make friends that you just flat out recruit. But we have a Pathfinder over there, which is, like I said, it's our role for someone who's helped spearheading the growth and creation of that guild. He's currently moving and has taken a break, and so we've been letting our Guild Wars 2 members know that things are to remain pretty casual there for a minute. Do not have a guild hall established there, but we will be working on that in the near future. And we opened recruitment on the forums and other places and other options that we're exploring too to kind of get the ball rolling more over there. Guild Wars 2 and Phantasy Star 2 Online New Genesis is actually probably the two that are the least active wings. We still support them regardless and do have people that play them. We have a small number of folks that do play PSO2 and GS with each other. Those two are probably going to be more prominent in being built up towards the end of the year or as we go here. There was a recruitment drive I wanted to run in PSO2 on every other Sunday or so, in combination with the other recruitment drives we're doing in those games. So some weeks they may or may not happen. Some weeks they might. It's going to depend on my availability because those specific wings are actually like 6th and 7th on my priority list compared to the rest. So definitely disclaimer that PSO2 and Guild Wars 2 are super casual right now, but they are open. And thankfully, games like Guild Wars 2 and ESO, you can join more than one guild. So there's no problem at all if you want to join a guild that's super active and can help you, but also have Azure on the side as a guild until that's built up or whatever, or or have both. Totally up to you guys. So community-wide plans of growth is proceeding in all wings, even if they're slow in a couple. Like I said, ESO, SOTOR, and Destiny are doing very, very good. And I got to move again, or I'm going to get kicked here. And those are kind of the statuses in those games. The major needs for those right now is pretty much, in the ones that are doing well and taking off, like ESO and SOTOR, for example, specifically, they would mostly need just folks that are interested in playing semi-regularly, members, light mods, scouts, people that want to maybe help with content in the future, resources, things like that. But the Guild Wars and Phantasy Star is in need of people who are like very knowledgeable and want to help lead and spearhead those, because we know that the council and I are already spread enough. Like I said, we did develop that Pathfinder rank for folks that we can assign, who will get involved with those and help build those communities there. But they are proceeding and are a lot further along than they were a few months ago. So that is really, really nice to see. Obviously, in the future, the goal is to continue to develop Azure as a multi-game community with 14 at its core. I want to assure everybody that just because those other wings exist does not mean they will take away from 14. That is a huge goal of mine to maintain always, because this is our core of our community here. But for those listening that might be from our wings, be assured that we will slowly and steadily build progress in those, and hopefully by this time, even next year, we will see like much more functioning and active wings on every level of the games that we support. We don't typically like to drop a wing. We've done it in the past only when the people who spearheaded those projects kind of crashed and burned with them and left or disappeared, or there was an issue, or the games themselves died. Like Monster Hunter World's wing. We had a wing for that with a pretty big clan that even had enough to take group shots, almost the size of 14's group shots. It was pretty nice. We did that for a couple years. It took a break and then brought it back, and it was pretty cool. When Monster Hunter Wilds comes out, I know we have some Monster Hunter fans here. That Monster Hunter wing might make a comeback. That's going to depend, because with Rise, when Rise came out, we did try to do events for Rise. We had weekly events for Rise and World happening simultaneously, just like our events for our other games, Destiny and 14. And it was good for a bit, but at the same time, Rise made it really difficult when it didn't have a PC release. If it was just Switch at first, and it got kind of difficult to group for, and then interest kind of died out. So we want to be sure when we plan a wing in a game that it's got longevity to it and it's viable and has guild features. Of course, anybody can represent Azure with the clan tag, whether it's a 4 or 5 digit clan tag. It can be, or 4 or 5 character clan tag. It can be capital AZUR in games of 4 characters, and it can be Azure, the whole word, in games with 5 characters. 5 character tags. So that's the status of our wings. We can always use more folks that are interested in those, that kind of just want to be active to semi-active in those. If you're interested in any of those games, do know that they are all very alive and thriving. There was a time I only played 14 and had not stepped foot into any of those that you see on the list there. And I thought, wow, this one must be, crap because it's old or doesn't have the backing that 14 has. And I mean, yeah, 14 is a powerhouse compared to them with 30 plus million people. Some of them, like ESO, is like in the 4 million people type mark or whatever. ESO's like 10 million and SOTOR is like in the 4 to 10 range and stuff like that. But still, there was a time when 14 only had 2 million at launch of ARR, and it was still pretty big. So consider that those are actually pretty thriving communities, and sometimes just logging into them for a couple hours or less is every once in a while is kind of just refreshing to see something different for a little bit and even see how they learned from 14 and how 14 learned from them. Really interesting. It's really opened my eyes to the world of MMOs and how these games kind of react to each other and even support each other. There are people who talk about 14 in SOTOR and ESO all the time. There's people who are playing Destiny and 14 back to back, and it's actually really, really neat. So seeing that, the spirit of this multi-game kind of spirit, for those that are interested in more than one and play more than one or have the time for more than one, which it's not as time consuming as you think. Not as time. I mean, raising my hand here, like I'm finding a little bit of time for each one every once in a while. So, doing dailies in each every day, yeah, that's a chore. But just checking in, running a little bit, or making a little slow progress is fun. And that's why our wings are casual, and it does give our members of our community, whether you're in 14 or just in Discord or in another game or whatever, wherever you're at, it gives people a chance to do things together a little bit outside the box, right? So maybe we're at the end of a patch in 14 and things are getting slow, and you kind of just want to do something with your friends in another MMO-like environment where there's exciting new rewards to earn and things that you haven't seen before. Some of these games are free to play even. Doesn't cost a thing, but just a little bit of time to check it out. I'm always down to run content with people in other games, so you can always poke me too, and I'm always happy to introduce these games to people and tell them how fun they can be, because some of it can be pretty cool. I never thought I would enjoy Elder Scrolls or SOTOR. Never thought I would. I love both of those franchises dearly for years, but never thought that I would enjoy those games, and I do. So seeing new recruits come in over there who have the same reaction as new recruits here. Wow, look at this awesome place you guys have made, and Discord's really cool. Look at the website, and oh, this is cool. And even without events, there's people that are very happy to be in Azure over there that have never seen 14. So knowing that spirit exists universally across the board really, really gives us the optimism of like, oh my gosh, like we could really, really grow as a community. We could really branch out, and if it's done right and it's done slowly and carefully and steadily, we can build an incredible community that kind of where each thing is kind of bouncing off each other, and there's activity all the time in Discord and whatnot. So the sky's the limit, no pun intended. And it's really cool to see all of those communities and their activity and people. And it's interesting too to kind of like learn what those communities are like, because sometimes you see people react to recruitment differently in one game versus another. People in 14, for example, are like much, much more thankful for someone to talk to them first than to just send an invite. But in games that have where you can join 8 guilds, they kind of prefer the invite and then talking about it and giving the info like after joining. So it's really interesting to see like the difference there. There's some differences, but there's also a lot of similarities. I mean, ESO's literally got a duty finder just like 14 almost, and it's so there's some similarity. But moving on here, the status of our wings are doing very well, like I would say, for what we're trying to run, and the fact that they are maintaining it, even if some of them are 30 to 80 to 100 people. SOTOR has a cap of 1,000, which is really nice. And other ones are either close or similar to 14 as far as member cap. So obviously our goal is that cap. Our goal is that cap. And some people might think, like, just like with 14, like I said earlier, wow, why so much? Well, because percentages, activity percentages, and developing enough people in the crowd for those different times, right? So we're going to keep working on those. Really excited about those, and very thankful to anybody who's here today or present within our community, our active people that are playing playing that do contribute to those. Thank you very much for your contributions, wherever you've been at in any of those levels of different wings and their development. And finally, just want to have a kind of special acknowledgement overall to everybody that has stepped up to join our scouts, and of course those in the council beside me. We always kind of have to remember, like, we are a team. We do this together. We don't want anybody exhausting themselves, and the more that we can uplift each other, the better. And want to thank the members and our new recruits as well for just being awesome overall. I know I kind of said it earlier, but I just wanted to say it one more time here. And those that are working on special projects, but there's too many people to name. But and we're over time here, but everybody that's working on kind of like special projects or helping with this or that, whether it's a depot, a wing, onions, whatever, thank you very much. We have so much going on, and it's only because of all of you. So thank you very much, everybody. So let's go ahead and do our final raffle here for this assembly. We've got another really cool prize from Treasure Thursdays. Something we found deep within the cenote, and it's a pretty big one, so pretty fun to win. Pretty good chance at getting this here within the first couple weeks of the event. If you are in game, go ahead and slash random now. If you're on Twitch, go ahead and put a 3-digit number between 0 and 1000. And if you're in the VC with us in the chat, go ahead and the Grand Company again, Grand Assembly VC, go ahead and put a 3-digit number between 0 and 1000. And the number closest to mine here will win an awesome prize. And then we'll go on to our little Q&A phase, and that will be it. Really appreciate you guys sticking with me here and being receptive to our announcements and everything, and the input. I'm really looking forward to getting the Summer Festival post up on the website. It's going to have a lot of cool stuff on there. You guys can see initially there'll be a lot of TBA slots, but they'll be filled in throughout the week. So, yep. Once again, if you haven't rolled yet, or you want to put a number in, go for it. That's 3 digits, any number between 0 and 1000 in any of our chats, or do a slash random if you're in game. All right, last chance to roll, last chance to put a number in. I'm going to kind of speed this one up a little bit. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. All right, 556, 556. 556, I can see a 534 from Adara. I see a 534 from Luna, wow. When we get a double number, we usually ask if someone rolls again. Okay. Okay. Any others that are close to, let me see, 550. I just want to triple check here. Gotta be as accurate as possible here. Okay, yeah. Looks like Adara. Congratulations. Winning the honeysuckler. Awesome. Dawn Trail minion there, found deep within the cenote during Treasure Thursdays. That one was from our prize pool. Got another one, too, earlier that might be for a special event this coming weekend. All right. So what we're going to do now is what we call our Q&A. That is officially the end of our announcements. If we have council that are present with me that would like to step up to say something first and kind of have a council floor segment, then let me know. Also, for those who have any feedback, proposals, comments, tell us how we're doing. If you've got a comment or a question about anything that we've talked about here today, I know we covered a lot here tonight. You are welcome to either put your question in text anywhere on Twitch or the Grand Assembly chat. You can also put a little, I'll show it in the game here, a little like / like hand raising sign, and we'll call on you. And then if you are in VC and you would like to talk in VC and take the stage here with me in VC, there's a little request talk button, and I can approve it, and it'll bring you up into VC where everybody can hear you. There's a little request to speak thing as well. So you can ask your question or leave your feedback or comment or announcement. If you've got a static that you're recruiting for, if you've got an eternal bond as well, anybody that has anything that would like the floor here, like I said, in text or the little hand wave, we can call on you, or you can in the VC here, you can leave the text, or you can do request to speak. All those options, lots of options. Starting with our I mean, anybody can do it, but we'll be starting with our council first, if our council has anything to put forward here. I know we covered a lot, so. Just give a couple minutes here to see who we've got. I think we may have some people typing. Just gonna give one more minute here. Not sure. Could be a whole paragraph being typed up that we don't know about yet. So just give one more minute here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and call on Turian. Yep, see your raised hand there in game as well as in VC chat. You wanting to take the stage, or do you want to type? No worries, no worries. Go ahead and just type in whichever chat, and I'll read it off. Anybody else, welcome to post in any chat or request to speak here in the VC, in the stage channel. If you're still with us here on Twitch, you're welcome to put any feedback in the chat there on Twitch as well. Okay, Turian said it was mentioned earlier about help for FC farming. Is there a place to go see what needs helping if someone's interested? Like the oh yeah, like the material, like the repair materials and things like that. Yeah, there is a FC needs post. Well, actually, it's Azure needs post that's up on the website. Let me see here. I'm gonna grab the link. I've got the browser open right here. Materials and things. Yes. Let me see here. I'm going to forum. Use a notice board, I believe should be, there it is. Azure Needs Board. That's what it is. Officially, the official name. Put together by Major and I here, posted by Major. It's also got a nice link to our directories as well. And then it'll show each game, and then it'll have like a list of that game's like links to its pages and its needs. So let me see a copy. I'll put it in a couple places. So there is, well, put it in FC as well as say. I'll post it as well in 14 chat, in Discord. And there's a link there in Twitch chat for those watching that might be interested. The Azure Infinitum Needs Board is a combination of different needs throughout our community, separated by each type. So everything from our websites and socials to our wings and games, and what those games and wings need, etc. Materials for the repair kits, I believe, is listed on there. Let me double check. So the FF14, yeah. That would be grade 6 dark matter clusters. Dark matter cluster and grade 6 dark matter cluster. Wind and ice crystals. It's 5 each per kit. Yep, no problem. Thanks for asking. All right, and let me see. Checking all chats here. Okay, and again, you can click request to speak there in the Discord VC if you'd like to speak here. There's also the chat in VC as well as chat in game and the chat on Twitch. If anybody has any other comments, feedback for the council and I, proposals, suggestions, we are open ears. Open eyes, open ears, as well as anybody who might have their own announcements as well for things that they're doing or running or would like to run. All of these things are welcome. This is the moment to do so. I mean, of course, you can communicate after this as well, but this is our chance during the finale of our assembly here. And I know that there are some things that people would like to ask about or comment on privately as well, and as opposed to in front of everyone, and that's also okay. You're welcome to send me a DM at any point or a tell, and I'll get back as soon as possible on that. I am going to take a slight break after the assembly here, so get some dinner. Alrighty, I think we covered just about everything here. Not seeing anything else from anybody right now. Totally okay, totally okay. Sometimes we're so thorough that the the assembly happens and then we're all informed and tired, and that's usually that's usually how it goes sometimes. So, but that's good. That's good. All right. Last call for anybody else. Any statements from those here or? Yep. No, it's fine. Yep. Alrighty, guys. I'm going to go ahead and call the end of this assembly. Want to thank everybody for watching, those who donated to our prize pool. Don't forget that we have Summerfest coming up here in just a few days. There's going to be a lot more announcements. The page for it is going to be up on the website with a whole list of the events taking place on the weekend. That's starting Friday, running through Sunday. It's going to be a lot of back-to-back stuff. You're going to see announcements in FC chat during that whole weekend. 3 days of calling out for events and fun stuff, prize giveaways, raffles all over the place, all kinds of stuff to win. It's going to be a blast, and yeah, look forward to that. And the council and I will be hard at work on a lot of other things we're working on. We've got projects. We've got, yeah, like I said, the FC Needs Board. Always looking for folks willing to, or interested, willing to step up to scout rank. If that's an interest that you have, don't be shy. Definitely let us know. Yeah, with that, we have touched base on everything that we wanted to bring here to the assembly tonight. Thank you guys so much for showing up and continuing to support our community across the board. Folks across our streams, watching live now from many sources, as well as those in the future during the assembly cast recording. And also those that are in our wings that may be checking this out, and everybody here in 14, everybody through our Discord. Thank you very much. This concludes our August 2024 Grand Assembly.